So I've had this spell book for a while now that I use with my cleric character. It's oddly similar to a Pokemon card book because that's what it is. I want to make it look more D&D-y. I got the idea from one of our patrons to start doing some leather craft work, and it's something we've always had the tools for but never really done a project for, and I think this is the perfect project to start. So we're gonna make this into something else. So first off, I took apart the pieces of one of these books. And what we have are 2 inserts and 1 hard plastic frame. Using the Glowforge, I laser cut out the 2 main pieces for this thing. I also laser cut out a nice frame, as well as 2 inside pockets and a clasp. These slits right here are going to hold the card sleeves. In between these 2 layers, I'm going to cut the original frame to add some strength to these pieces. Now I got it. So I was able to remove the tape off of this piece really easily, but I cannot get the tape off of these little pieces at all. And this is Glowforge proof grade stuff, which is really odd. I can't get the tape off. This is definitely just going to be a proof of concept one. So it's the next day, and my file wasn't great, and the leather also wasn't great. This is what we have right now. The laser burnt through the leather, and this design that I had here for the spine wasn't fantastic. It's really loosey-goosey. And I also genuinely didn't know how to work with leather. I tried doing one stitch this way and then didn't like it as much, so then I switched to this kind of stitch, which I like more and I want to do on the final one. But altogether, I'm unhappy with how it turned out, especially because the leather that I was using had masking tape on it, and it was impossible to remove. So I went back to the drawing board, found different leather to use, and I'm going to scrap this one. This one is trash, but it taught me a lot, and it helped me figure out what I want to make next. Version 2. I used leather that we actually got from the Ren Fair, which was a vegetable tan leather that was already stained. These are a little damp right now. It was this color, and this is the color it will be. I wanted to try to use a leather that was already colored to try to remove one of the elements of newness to this. I've never worked with leather. I figured it was very similar to like working with any sewing project, but there's a lot of nuances to it that I'm trying to figure out, especially with laser cutting. Now, because it wasn't masked, there's some laser burn marks on it that I don't necessarily know how to get rid of yet. I did a quick wash on it just to get rid of any loose residue. Instead of doing the slits down the middle like in V1, I mimicked the holes that were in the spine of these, so I can actually just sew them directly into the leather. I'm still going to add that core of like some sort of plastic to give it some sort of rigidity. And I added this little spell tracker, which is going to use magnets and a little aluminum sheet that I'm going to put in the back. So that way you can keep track of your spells on here as well. The new modified file will be available on our Patreon with both this option or just 2 folders like it was before. Okay. So we got this pretty well glued together. I'm not going to open it too much because these seams are not done yet. But I'm going to start going around all the edges. And then when I get to this side, and I can pry this open a little bit more, I'm going to put the pocket on and sew that into place. So let's start sewing it all together. Look at this improvement so far. A cute leather-bound one versus Pokemon. I'm excited. I don't know about you. That sticks out. So I'm gonna work with like that much right now. This looks familiar to me. Let me get our little hammer and we just whack it. Okay, so that goes through there. And that goes here. So now if we put this here, that actually worked. From my understanding of how this works, you should just be able to kind of run this on the edges with a little bit of the burnishing cream. I think I'm just gonna soak it to try to get these marks out. Like I said before, there's many things in this project that were newer to me that I've never done before. One of those things is definitely gold leafing. I thought I was following the directions of applying the glue, letting it dry, and adding the leaf to it. But when I started to remove the gold leaf, it got stuck everywhere but where I put the glue. Some of the ways I tried to get the gold leaf off of the leather, first being blowing it off with an air compressor, second being vacuuming it up, and third being using alcohol to try to wipe it away. None of those seemed to do anything. The gold leaf was permanently stuck to the piece in places where I didn't even put the glue down. At the end of the day, it didn't stick where I wanted it to, but it kind of worked out because of the fact that the front looks now like a constellation. It wasn't planned, but that's art, I guess.